Hey everybody, this is Vin. Today we are going to do a small enterprise network configuration, but before that has the new thing that we have done, like we have already the all step that we have to do in order of doing the configuration, which we have done before. Okay, so it will going to facilitate our configuration journey. So while we are doing this kind of configuration, so at that moment sometime the step the order we that's a it's sometimes stuck, right? The order, the in a order of doing, if it's go in a flow, so definitely it's going to be help us to do the whole thing correctly. But if in case something which is out of the order, and so we can't guess that is it I have done with it or not something, so we can take a paper and pen, write that all step, and we can take that's all kind of thing that we can do confirmation with it. It will going to help us. So in the same way, that's all VLAN that we are going to configure into it, the all IP addresses that we are going to configure to it, we have to write before. Okay, so as I have done this thing over here, like the all gateways we have done over here as per the different VLAN, as per we have done the all gateways per VLAN, we have done the gateways. Okay, and another hand, if specifically if any VLAN which is going to where the need of configuring as a native VLAN, suppose that any management, here it is, as you can see VLAN 30 as I configured over here, as I written over here, I'm going to configure that too. But before that, that's the thing about the management, which is separately going to take a view all the it's a IT department management. So the IT department want to see the all kind of monitoring about the all network. So for that reason I will put the VLAN 30 as a native VLAN, so that will not going to tag itself, so which is the untagged traffic going through the VLAN 30. Okay, what about the routing? So there's nothing about that dynamic routing, so is all set. We have to do the whole thing manually. Okay, so the static configuration that we are going to do into it. Okay, and a different hand where we have used a kind of devices which is at the same layer, and the configuration was we are doing that was same too, but here's the thing, the device is layer 2, but the configuration or the mechanism that will work, and it will going to act like a router who in a one single switch, and there's two things will gonna happen. So that will act like a router, and it will act like a switch 2. So this is the speciality about the layer 3 switches that we are going to configure that too. Okay, so yeah, let's proceed this thing, how much we can do better into it, and the all step as I have done with it. So it will definitely going to help while we are doing configuration. So yeah, we have to take a pen and a paper, that all step you have to do it, and that kind of subnetting and the calculation about the IP addresses, what should be there, what should would be there, that's all thing we have to go through. And yeah, we can do this all like hygiene step we are going to do in order of doing this all. Okay, so so first we have to plan, which we have done the mapping of this all topology, which we already done it. So what we have to do is we have to do the basic configuration in each devices. About the all PCs, which is already done, I have done this all, but about this all configuration which we have to do it, before that we have to go through the all switches to configure the basic configuration that we call the hygiene tool. So let's see, in switch first, and we can type the enable command, then configuration terminal. Now we are in global configuration mode. Now we can do the configuration that we call the hygiene. So first we will change the host name of this device, and the host name would be switch 1 which is already done it. I think this switch is already configured, if I'm not wrong, because the switch 1 is already configured, because of instead of the switch the whole spelling is, if I will spell that will not going to make sense, but the SW, it means that it's configured. So yeah, we can go back and we can reset whatever the configuration already happened. Okay, so yeah, we can continue, and I will go in global configuration mode. Now we can reset the all configuration which we have done. So write erase. Okay, so I will write erase, and I will reboot it. So for reboot, I will reload. I will have the reload and then the enter. So yes, I want. Let's see, it's going to reboot itself, it's going to reset itself, so it will take few seconds. Okay, what's the wrong with this? Okay, reload. Okay, let me just write I want confirm. Yep, it's done. What the problem it's off. Let's see what's happened. Yep, now as you can see the result, it's fresh. Now we can continue the hygiene that of basic configuration that we are going to be do. Yes, we can. Okay, so configuration terminal. Right now we are in global configuration mode. So now we can change the host name, because where that was showing the switch 1 SW1, so it means that there's several configuration behind that. Okay, now it's fully reset and fresh. Now we can do the whole thing that we want. Okay, host name, which is I will put in the same way like switch 1 that we do always, and then after the service password encryption, password hyphen encryption, and what would be next is IP. Okay, no IP domain hyphen lookup, no IP domain hyphen lookup. Okay, it's done. What will be next is banner MOTD, and so unauthorized access is prohibited. Okay, now it's done. What is next is we have to configure the console. So for the console, line console 0, then password that I would put Cisco. Yeah, that would be the same. Then login. Now we can set in the same way for the remote access, line VTY 0 to 4, then the password. I was just for this Cisco, and the login, then exit. Okay, exit. Now all set. Now this is what we call the hygiene, and this is the basic configuration that we have to do each and every switch. Okay, so yeah, let's continue. Before leaving any device, we have to save it. This is the habit that we have to adopt. Okay, so write memo, that we call the write memory. So do write memory. Now we can leave this device. In the same way, I'm continuing with this, as you can see, which is already we have to just erase the whole thing. So I will go in enable mode, so write erase. Okay, now it's erased. What we have to do is reload. Let's see what would be result. Maybe it's going to be do the same thing, and then we have to do the same thing again. Then after it will going to respond. Yeah, now it's working. We have to go in global configuration mode. So conf t, right, configuration terminal is here. What would be next is the host name. This is repetitive tasks, and this is going to be build the muscle memory. The whole thing that I'm doing, that would going to be fluent itself, because I'm doing daily basis. Okay, I will see the compound result of this. So as you can see, switch 2. Okay, so service password hyphen encryption, and then no IP domain hyphen lookup. Yeah, I know the whole thing is going slowly, but gradually I'm becoming stronger to the whole thing. So it means that I'm doing whatever I'm doing, that would be going to be fine daily basis, right? Okay, no IP domain hyphen lookup, then banner. So MOTD, what would be that? The unauthorized. Unauthorized access is prohibited. That's done. The line VTY, line console, first line console. Okay, 0, and password that Cisco. We can put the secret password if we are configuring the physical security, like the console security. This is we call the physical security. So yeah, that's a good service password encryption is like it will going to translate each and every simple text in encryption form. Okay, yeah, that's a good thing. So password and login, then exit, not exit, I can call this line VTY there, 0 to 4, then the password we call the Cisco, login again as for same, then exit. We can't go with the shortcut exit EX, so that will not going to work over here. Okay, so all set. This is called the basic configuration. Now we can save it and exit. Okay, we can leave this device. Okay, enable conf t, which is already configured. So this device is already configured. There is no need to do erase or any kind of erase command we have to use for this. So we can continue whatever we are doing. The host name, which is switch With switch this is 3. Okay, and service password hyphen encryption, then service password hyphen password encryption, and no IP domain hyphen lookup banner MOTD, unauthorized access, is prohibited. Okay, yeah, well, okay, so then we call the line console 0, okay, line console 0, and then after the password which is Cisco, and login, then line VTY which is 0 to 4, and password for this would be same like that, then login, then exit. Okay, all set. Do write memory. Okay, now let as for same in this device, this is what we call the basic configuration. Okay, so service password hyphen encryption, no IP domain hyphen lookup, and banner MOTD has unauthorized access, is prohibited. Okay, line console 0, and the password what is this? Okay, password. Okay, again the password we have to update. Okay, now it's correct. Then login, line VTY 0 to 4, the same way. And exit. Yep, all set. Okay, do write memo. I'll leave it. Okay, what about this? Okay. Now we can continue. This is fresh this fresh switch, right? Okay, now enable copy configuration terminal, the host name switch, which switch this is 5. It's IP domain hyphen lookup Okay, banner MOTD, which is unauthorized access page pro AB. Heavy now. Line VTY, line console first, then VTY. We go for that. Line console 0. What will be next is, okay, line console, the password would be as per sim. Maybe you guys are listening the same, because we are, whatever I'm doing right now, that's a similar thing, so it's a thing like human tendency come out again and again doing the same thing, and it feel like boring stuff I'm doing. But sometime if it will going to just train your mind, and yeah, that I feel I'm doing that because of that. Now we can continue with that, the login and then exit, because the things is going to be day by day becoming quite complex, because this is the initial phase, and the thing is which is going with quite smooth and repetitive. But when we go on the some kind of better configuration, so the things going to be complex, definitely, that I felt and that I did it. Now continue. Okay, line VTY 0 to 4 and password which is Cisco login exit. Okay, do right and leave it. Okay, now it's set, all set. Now this is done. Router. Okay, so enable conf host configuration terminal right here, the host name which is R1, and then service password hyphen encryption, no IP domain hyphen lookup, no IP domain hyphen lookup, banner MOTD as unauthorized access is prohibited. Okay, this all set. What's wrong with this? Yep. It was okay. Password line VTY 0/4 password which is Cisco. As per same, what would be next is login and exit. Do right memo. Yeah, this is all about that. Now we have done the basic configuration which was required for this. Okay, all set. what would be next is, now we have to create the VLAN. Then after we will do the configuration with the access mode, and then after the trunk mode for the in between the switches configuration. Then we will proceed for the gateways, as per, if there is a gateways, we have to configure for the inter-VLAN routing on the router or the layer 3 switch. If there is a router, so we have to configure for the router. If there is a switch, so instead of the router, we have to prioritize the switch first, because this is there is ability of switches have the ability, the layer 3 switches have ability, if I will say, so that would be correct. So that can that we call the SVI. So it has kind of things like which is going to route the whole VLANs configuration. Like it has ability to do the inter-VLAN routing. So yeah, that was the thing we were doing with the router. At a moment we can do with the layer 3 switch. Yeah, let's do. And then after we will going to do the enable routing, IP routing. Yeah, this kind of thing that we are going to do it. Now we can proceed this out. Now on the switches, on the switch 1 we have to configure this whole thing. So let's see what we can do with it. Okay, so now it's this is what we have done with the console protection, the physical protection, what we call. So okay, now we are in global configuration mode. Now we have to create the VLAN. So we will create the VLAN. Okay. Now before creating the VLAN, something we have to check. If there is this, there's few things which we have done. If in condition, if there is a condition we have not configured or this whole thing, like the configuration which are related to VLAN. So once we have to reset. But if we have not done this kind of thing, we haven't did this kind of thing, so without resetting this device, we can check the VLAN if we can. So yeah, do so VLAN ref. Okay, here it is. Now all are there. Is there need to do anything? No, there's nothing about that. What would be next that we have to do it over here? We have to check the access port. So I will check how many what are the interfaces which are assigned to the which are assigned for the VLANs, or what are the status about that. So we can check with do so run. Okay, so it means that okay, so all interfaces are fresh. There's nothing about the configuration which are related to that in. Okay, so now we can configure the access port. So I will call the interface. Which interface is going to? I will go with the range command for this. So the interface which is with the range f0 f0/2-3. Now the description, which is for the VLAN 10. So VLAN 10. Okay. VLAN 10 with the f0/2-3. Yep, this is all set. Now we can continue with the which VLAN? This is VLAN 10, which is connected to F0 /3 and 4. It's 3 to 4. No. What I'm doing, 5 to 6. Switch port, mode access, switch port access VLAN what? Switch port access VLAN 10. Yep, exit, do so. Yeah, 5 and 6 with it. Okay. Yeah. Okay, all set. Okay, we can leave this device. Okay, so as you can see, we have done the access mode configuration. Yeah, our next would be trunking. So in between switches, so for each and every interface we have to do the trunking. So we will call the all VLAN first, and then after the native VLAN. Remember this is the rule. So for this one, again, password for this Cisco. Okay, so I have to do. Okay, well, so now this is switch 1. We have to do trunking on F01. So interface F0/1 description. Trunking on F01. Okay, so switch port mode trunk, switch port trunk allowed VLAN. So with what are the VLANs? So 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40. Switch port trunk native VLAN. Which VLAN is native? 30. Okay, then exit. The exit. Exit. We can check this thing, So do so. Interface trunk. Yep. All set. On the top of that, the trunking would be okay. Yeah, VLAN 30 is there, which is trunk. Okay, now we can leave this device to right. Okay, well, I'll call the interface. No. Okay, in the first interface, there's in the first switch there's one trunking configuration, but in a second switch there's two for each interface. So I will call the both interfaces because the same configuration we are going to do. Okay, so we will go with the range. So the interface range, and the range would be F01 to F02. Okay, so F01 to 2, and the description would be trunking on F01 to switch port mode trunk. So switch port trunk allowed. Okay, switch port mode trunk, switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, nothing wrong with this. Switch port trunk allowed VLAN. Yeah, right here. I was doing wrong. VLAN 10, VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, it's done. Again, okay, VLAN, you have to do confirm always. Switch port mode, no switch port mode. Now we have to set the native one. So trunking, switch port trunking, native VLAN 30, which is native, right? Yeah, now we can check that. Exit from this to check to. So interface trunk, yeah, on both. What about this? So what about 30 and F01? Okay, on 2, all are there. Spanning tree forwarding state is not. Okay, but I did it the same thing. Nothing gonna happen wrong. Okay, what about this? Okay, maybe for 2, the reason would be if I will block on, let's say I will just check it again when I will do this on switch 2, then after I will check it again, like what the wrong with this. Okay, so interface, is that trunking? Let me just look at this before doing that. So do interface, do so interface. Well, this is all by default, which we can see always that kind of happen. But Okay. Okay, well, this is all which we can see, which is by default. Okay, so I will call the interface. Okay, interface will go with the range. So f0 0/1 f2. Okay, so description would be trunking on f01, range 2. Okay, switch port mode, trunk, switch port mode trunk, switch port trunk allowed VLAN, which is 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, switch trunk native VLAN 30. Then we can see whatever the configuration are working. Do so interface trunk. Yeah, all set. What about a spanning tree? Forwarding state is not 40. It's showing different on each. What could be reason? Okay, now it's done. All are same. Yeah, it's set. Okay. Nothing wrong. We have to do. I'm leaving this device right now. Do write memory. Now, next. Okay. Interface by default. Interface 1 and 2 in the same way. With range f01 f01 range 2. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Okay, description. It just has trunking on f01, 2. Okay, switch port mode access VLAN, switch port mode access nobody, trunking we are doing, switch port mode trunking done, switch port trunking allowed. What the hell is this? What's happening? VLAN switch port trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, switchboard trunk allowed, switchboard trunk native VLAN, switchboard trunk native VLAN 30. Okay, do so interface trunking. Okay, that's done. Now for this I'm going to delete this, do write memory. I will check it again on this. Yeah, all set, which was remaining, that's done. Okay. Okay, well, now it's time to configure this one as a trunk. Okay, this is layer 3 switch. So we have to do the trunking at one point, which is F01, and we have to do the routing. To enable that, we have to do routing for the F02. So in that case, we have to set the gateway to, and first we will configure that. Okay, so yeah, let's see what we can do with it. We can take help of that. We can take help whenever we will stick somewhere. We can take help of AI. Okay. So the interface, which interface? The F01. Then the description for trunking on F0/1, then switch port mode trunking, switchboard access, switchboard trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30. Okay. Okay, switchboard trunk allowed, switchboard trunk allowed VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40. Yep, all done. Now the native one. So switchboard. Okay, switchboard mode, switchboard trunking native VLAN which is 30 for this. What the hell is this? Switchboard trunking VLAN 30. Okay, what about the native one? Where's the native? Yep, now we can exit from this and we can check it now what we have done. So interface, which interface? As a trunking, we have to just check it over here. Yeah, for the one single. Yeah, want to just delete this device, so do write memory. Okay, let me just do confirmation about this.
Hello, Vinayak.
Okay, so has the situation where the one end there is a layer 3 switch and another end where's the router. So what we have to do, which kind of configuration we have to do at layer 3 switch?
Alright, got it. So basically you've got a layer 3 switch on one side and a router on the other, and you're trying to figure out what kind of configuration needs to happen on the switch side.
Yep.
So in this...
Yeah, continue.
Awesome. Sounds like you're on board. So it's really all about making sure that each VLAN has its own interface on that layer 3 switch, and then pointing the switch's default route toward your router. That way, the switch handles local traffic and hands off everything else to the router. But hey, if you've got any more nitty-gritty details or something you're curious about on that...
Now tell me, there's need of do the trunking on that, there's nothing about what I understand. Let me to confirm about this. I will do trunking, that's all kind of thing which was related to in between switches to switches, but there's a router, another end is router, so I have to configure as a router to communicate to the router, right?
Absolutely, you've got it. So yeah, when you're dealing with two switches, you'd usually set up trunking between them for the VLANs. But in your case, since you've got a router on the other end, you're just treating the layer 3 switch more like a router. So you'll do your inter-VLAN routing on the switch, and then have one routed port or a default route pointing to the actual router. Basically, that router will...
Okay. So for now, this is the thing that we have to do, which is in real, which was related to the the routing part, right? But here's the thing, whatever we have done, like the access mode, trunking mode, but here's the thing that we have to do in layer 3 switch, or if there's no layer 3 switch. So for that we have to do that thing for the gateways stuff, like to gateways to route the traffic, right? So for this kind of thing, to do this all, we have to make sure what we have to do in real for the SVIs. So for particularly in layer 3 switches, we have to do the SVI configuration to do the inter-VLAN routing. And another hand, if there's a switch, if there is a router instead of switch, layer 3 switch, so I have to do configuration a router on a stick. In that case, we have to create the sub interfaces to communicate the one VLAN to another VLAN, so that we call the inter-VLAN routing. So for now, we have to configure the SVI at this moment. Okay. So for SVIs, the interface we are going to treat at an interface, the VLAN. So the VLAN, which VLAN we are going to call it now? So VLAN 10. Yep. So VLAN 10. Now we are in this interface. So IP address, which IP address, that's 192.168. The gateway's IP address that we are going to put it over here. So 192 to route this traffic to just communicate to possible the inter-VLAN routing. So 192.168 .10.1, then 255.255.255.0. That's done. And about this one, so it's going to be work at when we tell that, like I think we have to do in the same way. I just want to do for each and every interfaces we have to do this and figure out this all. Now we can go with it. Just let me do confirm about this. Like this is all something nose down. Okay, for each and every on each and every gateways we have to do like no shut down over there. Okay, so no shut down, no shut down. Then again I will call the interface VLAN, which is 20. So for this, yeah, so the IP, which was this a bit different, I have to Yeah, it's done. Now set down. Then interface VLAN, which is 30. Then I will call the IP address for this, which is a bit difference I have to create for this. Okay, now set down. Yeah, then interface again VLAN 40. A big change. Now set down. All set. As we have done the interface configuration, do write memory, write memo. Listen, has the objection, whatever we have done, if there is a inter-VLAN communication or inter-VLAN configuration we have done, so once we have to check, and then we will go for the gateways, like the routing process. We have to do the all switches stuff, and then we will go for next layer. Okay, so whatever we have done until now, this is for all layer 2. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I will ping with the inter-VLAN routing. So I will ping to this device. Yeah, we can ping with the this one, like ping 192.168.10, which is the VLAN 10, and that's 1 2, so the 10 11 12, so it would be 12.12. let's see. Yep, now inter-VLAN routing is working. This is thumbs up. Okay, so a bit changed for each and every VLAN. I'm going to just check it out. So 20 and VLAN 20, I think there is an no, it will not going to, because in VLAN 20 there is a two device, 192.168.10.10 and 192.168 no, this is 192.168.20.10 and 192.168.20.11. so yeah, it will going to last definitely. If I will make a change to it will make, yeah, definitely it will work. So because this is the device which exists, yeah, so again it will going to 100% pass out. Yeah, this 100% success rate and 0% loss. The inter-VLAN routing is successfully working. I will call it again with the 30. I will put 0 to it, because the first PC I will check of the VLAN 20, the first PC of VLAN 20. Yeah, it's working. All set. Now we can do the configuration for the layer 3. So let's proceed with the layer 3 configuration. So I will just call first the interface. Before that, we have to go in this router and the bit configuration, not too much, but okay, let's do it. So the interface, I will call it the G00. So interface G00, then the IP address that I will assign to it. So what would be that IP address? Let's put it 10.1.1.1, like, yeah, 1. Okay, one dot 1 255.255.255.0. now sit down, what's up? So I will exit from this. Okay, I will exit from this and then I will check it out. Okay, do so IP interface brief. Here it is. Now it's up. Do write memory. let's say. As you can see, it's up, all interface is up. You can go with it like, yep. We are in a layer 3 switch in the interface. I have to exit first. I don't know which interface I am and which interface I am. So that was 2. Okay, interface. Whatever we have done the configuration, what was the interface? In configuration mode we have done this all, not any interface. Okay, so we have to go in interface first. Okay, so I will go in interface. Which interface? f0/2. Once I'm in the interface, then I will make the device I will change the device, like functionality I'm going to change. Then after it will going to act like a router. So no switch port. Okay, no switch port. Yeah, now as you can see, line protocol first, then change down, let's straight up. Yeah, now it's going to act like a router. So I will configure the interface, and in this interface I will set the IP. So IP address, which is 192.168.168.168 dot not, this is for router 1 now. So 10.1.1.2. yeah, 255.255.255.0. And we have to set the default route on this, because the this is the also a router, next one is also a router. So for the next hop I will set the default gateway. Okay, as this device is a default gateway. So once I will do this, and then after set down, yep, it's all set. Okay, I will then after IP route I will set it. I'm setting now the default gateway. So IP route 0.0.0 0.0.0 say 0.0.0. yeah, then 192, the next hop IP, not 192.1.1.2, not 1. Yeah, that was, that's done. Okay, so if I will check do so run, well, let's say the IP routing, what are the configuration that we have done to it. Okay, now IP I have done this one. This is about the description, trunking, native. Okay, on 2, no switch port. Okay, then this is all about the routing configuration. Okay, what about 3 and 4, 3 and 4, and 5 and 6, 5 and 6 as access port, okay, as access port. IP address, no switch port. It means that there's no switch port. It means that it's the things, that configuration we have done in in a router mode. Okay, and this is all written over access, whatever we have done right here. Okay, so the MAC address is right here for the VLAN 10. Yeah, all are there. Briefly the VLAN 10 for this router, the MAC address for this MAC address. Okay, IP classless, which is the IP route by default I have done to it. this is the next hop IP address, which is R1 IP address. If I will hover on it, not showing right now. Now this is all about the okay. Yeah, let's check. Okay, whatever we have done, this all do write memo. Okay, all set. Now we can let this device. If I will hover on it, so the IP address is correct. Okay, if I will ping to their IP address, like the router's IP address, so I will ping on 10.1.1.1. okay, wait a minute, this is for the router IP address. Let's see. Okay, so what would be reason? Why it's dropping? Let me just do it again in similes. Okay, on the router. Okay, I just want to know, so I will just call them.
Hey there, Vinayak.
Okay, I have a question for you. Okay, now tell me, from the PC one, in between there is several switches. I have done the all configuration for that, and end of that all switches there is a layer 3 switch. Okay, so on the layer 3 switch I have done configuration to, and which is connected to a router. Okay, and what are the configuration I have done? So on the switch 3 I have configured a default router, layer 3 switch, a default route, and on another hand, that's the last switch, which is 10.1.1.1. There's a last router, sorry for that, there's a last router which is 10.1.1.1, and which the last switch is which is layer 3 switch, as I told. That's IP address is 10.1.1.2. so from the PC one I want to ping to the default, the last router, which is where the IP address is 10.1.1.1. so it's not pinging.
Got it. So you've got a bit of a pinging puzzle with that YAST router at 10.1.1. It sounds like there's a bit of an IP confusion going on between the switch and the router. Let's sort that out. Are you testing from the same subnet, or is there a different network in play?
In the same no, I think in the same subnet, I would say. In the same subnet, yeah, it's the same subnet.
Okay, gotcha. So it sounds like we're dealing with a single subnet here, which makes things a bit simpler. If your PC and your router are on the same subnet and that ping isn't going through, it might just be something simple like a firewall setting, or maybe the router's just not...
let me just show you the topology. Thereafter you will decide what the thing I try to show you. Okay, so as you can see right here, I want to ping from this PC to this router, and has the layer 3 switch. If I will hover on this layer 3 switch, you will see like...
Okay, I can see your packet tracer setup now. Thanks for sharing that. Looks like you've got a nice little multi-VLAN topology going on. Now, before we proceed, let's just check if ICMP is allowed on that L3 switch interface. Could you confirm if you've enabled ping responses there?
What did you say?
Alright, I can definitely see the Packet Tracer window now. You've got a pretty detailed setup going on there with multiple VLANs and your layer 3 switch. So it looks like you saved your configuration just now, which is great. If you want to test that ping, I'd say go ahead and open the command prompt on that PC and let's see if you get a reply. And if you run into any issues, just let me know and we'll figure it out together.
Yeah, I just want to ping. It will. It's dropping on the layer 3 switch, and it's not going for the R1, which is right here. So what would be the problem?
Okay, I see the issue you're dealing with. It looks like the pings are kind of stopping at that layer 3 switch, and they're not heading over to the router. So one thing you might want to double check is whether you've actually got a proper default route or routing between those VLAN interfaces and the router. Sometimes in the layer 3 switch, if you don't have that routing properly configured, the package just won't know where to go next. So go ahead and check the routing table on that L3 switch and let me know what you found.
I configured the route layer 3 switch as a default gateway. So what do you know about that, or something which is that could be cause of that?
Alright, looks like we're zeroing in on the issue here. So if you've got the layer 3 switch set as your default gateway and the routes are configured, we might just want to double check one more thing. Make sure that your inter-VLAN routing is actually enabled on that layer 3 switch and that each VLAN interface or SVIs have the correct...
Inter-VLAN routing is enabled, but SVI is enabled, but I want to ping out of the gateway, the default gateway.
Alright, I see what you're looking at in Packet Tracer. Now, let me highlight the next step for you. Give me just a second.
No need to highlight that all thing, like I can do this.
Okay, let me help you out by highlighting exactly where you need to go in Packet Tracer to check your gateway settings. Give me just a moment.
Okay. And just I'm doing the same thing, just you try to say I'm doing that. Let me follow me.
Alright, I can see you're in Packet Tracer and I'm highlighting the gateway configuration area for you. Just follow along with that pointer I placed on your screen to help you confirm those settings. Let me know how that goes.
Okay, so I'm again pinging on that router. Let's see how it goes.
Alright, I see you're zeroing in on that ping chest in Packet Tracer. I've gone ahead and highlighted the default gateway configuration for you, so you can double check that setting and make sure everything lines up. Let me know if you need any more help once you've taken a look at that.
Okay, now tell me, it's possible to ping. Now it's, as you can see, the 100% loss is there.
Yeah, I can see that you're getting 100% packet loss on your ping there. Alright, let's confirm your device's IP configuration and the gateway. I'm highlighting the area where you can double check that in the Packet Tracer interface. Just make sure the IP and subnet
now you
match.
can verbally tell me that all.
Alright, I definitely see that you're getting that 100% loss. So let's do this. I've highlighted the interface where you can double check your IP and the gateway settings. Just take a look at that to make sure everything matches up on your end. And if it still doesn't work, we'll just walk through the next steps together. Sound good?
Yeah.
Sure thing. I can see you looking at your Packet Tracer terminal with those ping results. I've highlighted that IP area once again, so you can double check.
Okay, now tell me in which device I have to check if the router is not reaching. So
alright, I can see you're currently looking at the PC1 terminal in Packet Tracer, and it's showing that 100% packet loss. So here's what we should do. I've highlighted the router in your topology that you'll want to check. You can click on that device to open its configuration and make sure it's powered on, and the interfaces are up. Let's take that step and see if the router is actually up and running. If it's not raising, you'll see that right away, and then we can figure out the next fix.
how we can fix this all?
Alright, so I can see you've got your PC's command prompt up with that 100% packet loss, and I've highlighted the router you need to check on your topology screen. Just look for the router I've indicated. You can open it up and confirm that the interfaces are enabled, and that it's our Once we can...
it's powered on and interfaces are enabled, and the IP address is all showing into 10.1.1.1.1. All are there, but as the thing that's configuration, I would like to show you. This is the layer 3 switch configuration, as you can see.
Alright, I can see that you've got your router's interface configuration up on the screen now.
Can you see this? Can you just see this information?
Absolutely, I can see the entire setup you're working on. I've highlighted the main switch configuration in your topology window, so you should be able to find it easily. Just take a look where I've marked it, and we can start checking the VLANs and layer 3 settings from there. Let me know how that goes.
Okay, now as you can see here, just to take a look over here what I try to show you. Don't do anything, just take a look and give me the insights from this. As you can see, here's the interfaces like which are given over here.
Absolutely. I can key your packet tracer layout and all those VLANs you've set up. It's looking like you've got each VLAN color-coded, like VLAN 10 in green and VLAN 20 in orange, which is super helpful. From what I can see, you've got your layer 3 switch set up for inter-VLAN routing as well. So yeah, everything looks fine on the configuration front. Your VLANs and routing look in place. Anything else about this setup that you'd like me to dive into?
Okay, well, okay, I will figure out next time. Now tell me what could be the cost if if there is a PC which pinging to the last switch, which is the layer 3 switch, and in the next to it the router is connected to it. So what could be the cost? It's the ping is reaching to the layer 3 switch and it's not going for the router. So what could be the cost? Tell me the all possible cost.
Got it. Sounds like we're dealing with a classic scenario where the ping is stopping at the layer 3 switch and not making the jump over to the router. In a nutshell, one common cause could be a routing configuration issue. Maybe the default gateway on the switch isn't set up right, or the static route isn't pointing to the router. Another possibility might be interface status, like the router interface is administratively down. I'm seeing that you've got Packet Tracer open, so if we highlight the interface status or the routing table, we can start to figure out what's not aligned. Let me ask, do you want me to visually point out anything specific on the setup, or are you comfortable checking that yourself?
Okay, so let me just look at this. What are the things that we have to...
Alright, I can see you've got everything laid out there in your Packet Tracer lab and your sticky notes checklist, so let's keep it simple. One thing we might want to check first is the routing configuration on that layer 3 switch. For example, is the default route or static route actually pointing to the router's IP address? Another easy thing is to make sure the interface connecting the router and switch is up and assigned to the right VLAN or subnet. Once you verify those things, it'll help us narrow down if it's a routing issue or something on the link itself. Let me know if you want me to highlight a specific part of the setup for you.
Okay, we will going to figure out in the next video.